Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Oh,
We're back.
hey everybody, and welcome to Life in Sync. We are back, and this is our season 2, episode 1, and we are just so excited to be back. So many things have happened. Um, Good, bad, and ugly, but we're still here, and we just want to come and give you a little motivation, give you a little inspiration to empower you. Like the verse said on the flyer, iron sharpens iron, and so a man sharpens the countenance of his friends. And I'm so thankful that I have some friends that keep me sharp, keep me going,
Whoop,
that are
whoop.
telling the truth, and just having a good circle, and definitely divine connections and relationships are so important. But we are so happy that you have taken the time out to join us, whether it's live or if you're coming back for the replay. We thank you, and we don't take it for granted, knowing that your time is valuable. And so we want to get to the matter of the thing on tonight. We're going to be talking about confidence and what it means to be confident, discussing times when we didn't have confidence, talking about how we've had to build up our confidence. What are those things that we have faith in, those things that we believe in, those things that we trust on? Talking about some of the characteristics and attributes of a confident person. When you look at a certain person, what makes you think that that person is confident? What do you see about them? When you look at a man, what makes you think that that man is confident? And also, what are some of the things that can happen to us that tear down our confidence? And so we want to make sure that we're in a place where, especially in times of uncertainty, it's so important that we have our faith, that we're trusting and that we're believing, and we're making sure that we're putting our faith, our trust, and our confidence in the right things. And so we're gonna just kick off today, and I'll just give you a couple of definitions of confidence. Confidence can be defined as feelings or beliefs that one can rely on someone or something. So being able to rely or believing that you can rely on someone or something. Also, confidence can be defined as the feeling certain about the truth of something. So we have being able to trust, being able to rely, being able to feel certain about the truth of something, not necessarily the fact, but that which is the truth. And then also self-assurance coming from our ability to appreciate our own abilities and our own qualities. So in our ability to trust and rely, in our abilities to believe and be certain about what is true, and then also being in a place where we have assurance and appreciation for our own abilities and our own qualities. And so a lot of times when people wrestle with confidence, it just simply means that they don't have an appreciation for who they've been created to be, their own abilities and their own qualities. And in God all things are possible. The word of the Lord is what is true, regardless of the facts of the matter, of the things that happen to us, the things that happen around us, and the things that we see. We can trust in the truth of God's word. So it's really about that faith. It's really about trust. It's really about belief. It's really about building yourself up to believe in yourself, knowing who you are. Self-identity is so important. And just being in a place where you can walk by faith. So I'm gonna let Erica start us off with kind of talking about confidence, and giving us some of her real life situations, testimonies, and scenarios to where she's had to exercise confidence, build herself up, and just make it, especially in times of uncertainty.
Absolutely. One example of confidence that I experienced in my life, or lack thereof, was in school when I had to pass certification exams or big tests or big things like that. I felt like I wasn't able to do it when it came down to taking the test. It may have been where I went to school for 1 year or 2 years, or prepared for an end of the semester test. And when it got down to it, I was afraid that I could not pass it. And so I had to catch myself. I had to think. I said, okay, why is it that I feel this way? What made me lose confidence? I had to go back to the beginning and say, when I enrolled in this class, when I started this track for this degree, I believed I would complete it. So what happened on the road along the way? And I think there were times where there was difficulties. Maybe I may not have made the best grade along the way. Maybe I may have been late on an assignment, or maybe I just was not in a good place mentally. And so I began to doubt myself. And so when those things happen, I had to replay in my mind the beginning. Why did I start this anyway? And so when I got that in my head and I think about, hey, I put the work in. Every day I read this book. Every day I recited this. Every day I prepared. I had this goal in mind. And so when I realized that I put in the work and I was competent, meaning I put in the work to know how to do the thing, I was able to take the test and pass. So I had to remind myself that I was competent. I was able, I was prepared. The road that I chose prepared me to get to that certain end, that expected end. So I think realizing that I was competent in doing it, even though I doubted myself, I had to remind myself, why was I doing it? And when I did that, it came back to my mind, I can do it. I do have confidence. And it just re-sparked that thing in me and said, yes, go forth with it. And we had good success in the end. And there were times where I didn't succeed at it the first time around. So I had to revamp. I had to go back and evaluate. What did I do wrong? What can I do different? Do I need to study different? Do I need to spend more time on this and less time on that? So it was a constant re-evaluation of certain areas where I learned that I was not as studious in those areas. And that caused me to lose confidence. But when I realized I was competent, able to do it, that's when I had success. So I think that plays a big part in it.
Absolutely. Being prepared and being confident. And actually being prepared is actually one of the characteristics or attributes of a confident person. And a lot of times, and in many different situations, we don't take the time to prepare. Even during this pandemic, as we talked about in some of our shows last season, we talked about being prepared and not just sitting here and waiting on what's going to happen.
Right.
Who's going to issue you the next check, or what's going to be the benefit from this pandemic, but actually, seeking God for strategy, making preparations, getting certifications, taking tests, not just around here trying to clout chase and get attention, but to actually prepare yourself for the next season, because eventually this thing will be over. And what does that look like for you? If you have not prepared, you will not be confident for what is coming up next. And it may even cost you in your lack of preparation and becoming competent in certain things to get you to the next level, to get you to the meeting, to get you to the table where the people are making the decisions, to get you the opportunity. It could result in a missed opportunity. So definitely preparation, like I said, is one of those characteristics of a confident person. And so that's a good point that you brought out about being competent, which simply means you've prepared yourself for what is next. Okay, Miss Rhonda, RD Motivation.
Girl, I'm going to piggyback off of Erica and you, of course, confidence. My definition of confidence is defense from within. And they're simply stating that my confidence comes from what I believe within. And that's where I get confidence from. And it goes back to, as you were stating earlier, preparing, knowing exactly what you're capable of, what you're equipped with. That's where your confidence lies. I struggled with confidence with speaking.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I did. That was the hardest thing for me to do. And I'm telling you, this has really kind of helped me overcome that camera thing, But speaking was my thing. That was the hardest thing. And I realized it wasn't necessarily fear that was holding me back. I used to think all the time it was fear, but it wasn't necessarily fear. It was the fact that I wasn't confident because I had not properly prepared to do whatever I was set out to do. Oftentimes we have the mindset of just being yourself and just winging things, but no, you have to prepare. And that's what gives you that confidence, because once you rehearse it, once you say it within yourself, you know it and you start to believe it. And that gives you that defense from within to conquer and to overcome whatever fear or whatever obstacle that could come, that you could face while you're like with my case, speaking and, you know, and trying to get your point across to people. So I had to learn I had to learn that confidence comes from within. It's what you believe. And nobody can tell you that you're confident except for yourself. And so, for me, it took me getting up in the morning.
Erica, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
You can hear me.
Yeah.
Rhonda, you still there? She kind of broke up a little bit, but so I'm gonna go ahead and we'll see if she can come back in just a second. But she's definitely right, and she used the term saying defense from within, and really feeling confident in yourself. Going back to that
And creationing up. And can y'all hear me?
Of
Yes.
That definition of when you talked about defense within yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of that comes from self-love and loving yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing who you are, and having
Mm-hmm.
self-identity, you know, and knowing
Mm-hmm.
what you're purposed to do, and walking in
Yeah.
those things, and speaking life to yourself. And sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's a struggle for some people. Well, you finished with your statement because you kind of went out a little bit.
Yeah, it went out, and that's what. Well, I'm gonna pick up what you were talking about with the self-love. And so I was saying, what it took me getting up, and not necessarily was nothing about putting on the makeup. It was what I was doing while I was putting on my makeup. You know, I would tell myself, "You are wonderfully and fearfully made." You know, I would tell myself that I was more than a conqueror. I would tell myself that, you know, I was prosperous. I would tell myself that I was knowledgeable, that I was, you know, intelligent. So it was things like that. Your affirmations and your confirmations
Mhm.
will help build from within. So self-love, you know, and like I said, nobody can tell you that you're confident besides yourself.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I was called or or labeled as in the past was overly assertive, which was just people trying to tell me I was aggressive in a nice way. Um, but but
Mm.
you know, and I have been pretty confident most of my life. That doesn't mean that I don't struggle from within, because there have been some times where I have not been confident. There are some
Mm-hmm.
times when I'm not sure. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there are some times when fear does set in, or
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, or worry, or some form of depression may try to creep in. But
Mm-hmm.
in knowing who I am, and knowing my purpose, knowing that I got to get up
Mm-hmm.
and I got to make happen, you know, pushes me forward, you know. And then even in one of the things that the characteristics of a confident person is a people who are not afraid of being wrong,
Mm-hmm.
people who are not
Mm.
afraid of being corrected. Confident people are teachable people. So
Mm-hmm.
even in my people's
Mhm.
perception of me as being overly assertive, or you know, aggressive in some of my deliveries, that was something that I needed to work on, because it was how it was being perceived, you know. And then it even goes into confidence versus arrogance, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then knowing that one of the attributes of a confident person is one who's grateful, or one who has humility. And so
Mm-hmm.
even in our efforts to be confident, or to make sure that we are prepared and that we love ourselves, we still have to make sure that we are conscious of how we come off, you know, to
That's
other people,
true.
how other
Yeah.
people may receive, how other people perceive us. Don't dumb yourself down. Don't
Mhm.
lay so low that, you know, you're not even functioning in your purpose and who you are. But even in that, you still have to take into consideration feedback, so that you can become
Mm-hmm.
better, you know, and
Right.
you
Right.
know, person and build yourself up. So I'm gonna read off some of these, and if anyone of y'all could chime in at any time. A confident person is positive. We talked about prepared. We talked about assertive. We talked about they speak with confidence. They're not afraid of correction. They celebrate other people.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that we have so much of a problem with celebrating other people? If you are confident, if you know who you are, if you're competent in your area, if you are staying in your own lane, then what is it that you guys think is the issue with some people being able to celebrate other people?
They don't have peace within. They have internal issues, like Rhonda said. It's something on the inside. They're fighting within themselves with insecurity or jealous or whatever that negative emotion is. And so, to me, if you find yourself in a position where you're always jealous or always has something negative to say about somebody who's doing something positive, you need to evaluate yourself and ask, why do I feel this way about this person? I wish it was me instead of them. So that means you have some work to do. It means that, hey, within myself, I need to fix that in me that's so jealous or feel less than a person. So we should be able to celebrate each other and resolve the
Somebody
issues
else,
within.
somebody
But
else
see, I can't give you what I don't have,
True.
you know?
That is true.
Absolutely.
So I can't celebrate you because, see, I don't even celebrate myself, you know, and that
Right.
goes back to, you know, having a lack of confidence. You know, you have to celebrate yourself first. When she Mary was talking about that self-love, I can't give it to you because I don't have it. I don't even give it to myself. You know, that goes back to those affirmations, those confessions that I was talking about. You know, you have to do those things, you know, because not everybody's going to be there to toot your horn, or everybody's going to be there to root you on, you know. And then on the flip side of that, you know, who is going to be the strong one? You know, like where does that balance out at? Like, who's going to be the strong one? And so you have to decide as an individual, I can't depend on nobody else to be the strong
Right.
one.
Right.
I have to be it.
Right.
And all of that comes from within.
And even you're talking about affirmations, it made me think about the movie The Help. If you remember at the very end, when Aveline was telling the little baby girl, she made her remember three things, those self-affirmations. You is kind, you is smart, you is important. And that's important. In that little frame of time, she taught that toddler some important things about herself. And as she went on in time, repeating those things, I'm kind and I'm smart and important, she would become that. So self-affirmation is so important. If you're constantly telling yourself, I'm a failure, I can't do this, that's too hard, I'm not good enough, guess what? You're not good enough. You're not going to be successful. But if you keep telling yourself, I can do it, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, I'm able, I am smart, I do have power to do this, I have the stamina to do this, guess what's going to happen? You're going to complete it. You're going to do it. So affirmations are so important. And I was reading today and I saw a quote by Gandhi, and he said, a man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks he becomes. He is what he thinks he becomes. So you're a product of what you think you are. If you think you're a good person, if you think you are successful, if you think you're pretty, if you think you're rich, you're going to work towards meeting those goals. You're going to work towards doing those things. So you are a product of what you think. So it's important that we put our words into action, not just talk it, but we walk it out. And we have to make sure we give ourselves those positive affirmations and surround ourselves with people who are positive, not with negativity, but with positive. You know, some people call it good vibes or bad vibes. No, surround yourself with people who are positive and who are positive thinkers, who are upward thinkers. That's so, so important.
Y'all read some of the comments, Mary.
Can't see anything.
There it goes.
He or she wants to do the same thing, but may not have the confidence to pursue their dreams. That's absolutely right, Sandra. Sometimes people, you know, oh man, I had that idea, or I wanted to do it. Well, guess what? It's room for you at the table too.
Right, exactly. The table's big enough.
Or doing the same thing and being successful. When you walk into the store, there's more than one brand name of jeans. There's more than one company manufacturing shirts and bracelets and clothing. There's more than one type of hair bundles and units. So it doesn't matter, but you do what you're graced to do. You do what you're purposed to do, and it'll be all right. It doesn't mean that person got it got to it first, so now my dream is over. No, because there's room for you. If God gave you the vision, if He gave you the plan and the strategy, you got to execute it. And then a lot of people need to swallow their pride, get rid of that pride, so you can reach out to the people who are doing the things that you want to do and get you some help. Get you some help so that you can learn how to execute. And then don't have that Nicodemus type spirit where you want to creep around.
Wait a minute.
You know how Nicodemus came to Jesus at night? You know, he wanted to know all of this stuff. He wouldn't come to him in front of everybody else. He wouldn't come to him in front of his friends. He didn't want anybody to know that he was seeking information from that particular person. Why is that we have that culture? Which there are some people who have done me that way, and that's fine. I'll help you if you need help. That's what I'm there for, and I would never speak your name or out you. And I wish you much success with your business endeavors and whatever you want to do. But we gotta stop some of the ways that we handle each other, because we all trying to come up. We all try, and let me pull you up, but don't go and ask me for and get with some other people and talk about me and put me down. That's what makes me question Nicodemuses. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes me wonder, what is that about? That's a whole nother, that's a whole story. Really. But we're not going to go there. But I'm just saying, when people are here to help, I've made a lot of mistakes because I didn't know who to ask.
Yeah.
And so I have put myself out there as a person who's confident because I've already made the mistakes. I've already made the errors. I've already been through I already took the losses. I already took all the L's. So you know what I'm saying? So if you need me for help, I'm trying to keep you from taking the L's. And the L's was money and time. And up all night worrying. You know what I'm saying? So, we have to be careful about that too. And one of the other, like I said, one of the attributes or the characteristics of a person who's confident is they're not afraid to ask for help.
Right.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. Who said, "Oh, I came back pulling it"? But don't be afraid to ask for help. Whoever I can get some help. I need some help. I don't know what to do with this. I want to do this. I don't expect for people to do all the work for you. You just walk in and be great.
Yeah, but exactly.
Help you, and they want to spend time and invest, in you in that way. Then be appreciative of it. It's like you will help somebody. Somebody come to you and they'll ask for some help. And then somebody buy them a bag of chips and they'll be on Facebook. "Oh, this is my girl. She bought me some Cheetos." But you be thinking, I spent 3 hours with you, counseling you, helping you, and then, the person that bought you the bag of chips is the best thing that ever happened. That's fine. But I don't mean to go there, but I'm just saying people are not afraid to ask for help.
And then too, but then too, Mary, they got to realize that they got to invest in themselves as well. And that comes from, and when you invest in yourself, that shows too that you have confidence. A lot of people want to ask you for your information and ask for help, but the people that don't want to invest into it is the people that lack the confidence. Because if you're confident in this is what you're supposed to do and this is what I need to do, guess what? I'm going to invest. I'm going to put my best foot forward, whatever it is that I'm endeavoring to do. But those who lack that confidence and they're only moving out of what they see and they're not moving from within, that's why they don't invest. That's why they take your information and you don't see nothing that comes from it, or they can't tell people where they got it from. Because they're not confident within themselves.
Exactly. And their motives weren't pure. It may have been that they just wanted the glory, but they know they didn't rightfully do the work behind it. So they can't disclose the information where they got it from or explain the process on how to get to what they're showing. So that may have been it as well. So that's important. But just humble yourself. There's nothing wrong asking for help.
That humility. Another thing about confident people is that they listen more than they speak. And so this was a challenge for me because I originally was the type of person just spoke my mind or however I felt, and however you took it was how you took it, you know, whatever. But with maturity and wisdom, you know, and growing in God, you know, I've evolved to a place where I listen, which I've learned that's much more valuable to listen more than I do speak. Because when I listen, I'm going to hear the motive. I'm going to hear the heart of the person. I'm going to hear the intent. You know, I'm going to hear what you're not saying. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna not just to be heard or to be seen or to be right or be the one, but actually being confident enough to be still and be quiet. So the discipline of quietness is definitely a skill that we all have to grow and mature, you know, and work on. You don't always have to have the last word. You don't always have to have the first word.
No.
You just chill. You ain't saying nothing because I'm confident in myself. They said this. I'm quiet because it doesn't take the value of who I am me to talk somebody else crazy. I don't have
what you think.
Yeah. Yes.
And silence has
they
been.
have given me a vision on how I need to handle you. But I know that I'm gonna sit here and be quiet and just let you do all the talking. And as I grew, it was so many instances that I was so happy that I was quiet. Thank you, Lord. I didn't speak what I wanted to speak and say what I wanted to say, but just learn how to listen more than you speak. Y'all got anything to say to that?
Some people think when you're silent that that's a sign of weakness, but it's not. Not all the time. So, like you said, we exercise wisdom, and that's how we know when to be quiet and when to speak.
If I can let you sit there and talk all day long, you can say what you want to say, and I'll just be like, okay. Because, you know, your opinion is your opinion. What you think is what you think. And guess what? I'm not going to beat your mind, beat your brain down, trying to make you feel or believe how Rhonda believes, you know. And if I spoke something, if I said something, I'm confident to believe it, and that's what it is.
Because oftentimes I don't listen to what Rhonda said, and I have to come back and be like, yeah, you said it.
And why you look, and then what happens while you talking, while you saying what you say? You know, Mary always got that comeback now. She do it. So I let her say I let her say her opinion of what she got to say, and I just leave it at that.
But she's better with a comeback than a clap back. We ain't doing a lot of that.
But she's humble. She's confident. Yeah. Guess what? She'll come back and say, you know what? So guess what? That's where that confidence come in at.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more thing we'll talk about: confident people are focused people. They know how to prioritize their time. They're not going to waste time. Time is not to be wasted. It's one of those things that you really don't ever get back. Is your time. Right. So being confident, knowing how to prioritize, knowing what your purpose to do, trusting and believing in what it is that you're doing, you know, and actually walking those things out. You don't have a lot of time to waste. There's no time to waste. I got a whole lot of stuff that I'm doing. I don't have time to waste. When I get off of here, I've got stuff to do before I go to bed. I'll be able to go to bed. But there's work to do because I'm focused. I battle procrastination sometimes. I get trapped in my mind, you know, thinking a lot or overthinking some things. But for the most part, being focused and carrying out those things that I need to carry out. Because part of being confident is being assured about the qualities and the abilities that I have. I need to be working these things out for sure. So y'all got anything to say to that? Focusing or being focused? Being ready?
It's important.
That's the key.
Yeah. You got to have a plan. You need to write it down and carry it out.
Absolutely. But I want to just end with this scripture, and then I'm going to let them talk and say their final words. Just remember this right here, Philippians 1:6, being confident of this very thing, that he who has begun a good work in you shall complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. You got work to do. When God made you, he called you good. He's going to complete the good work in you. but you have to submit yourself to him, be in connection and relationship with him, walk by faith, trusting what he said about you, you know, and carry that purpose out. He wants to complete the work. He already knows the end from the beginning. So it's up to you to have the confidence in what God has already said about you. So just be confident. Just trust. Don't waste this time that you have. You know, keep pressing on. You know, just because we sitting here and we sitting up straight in these chairs don't mean that everything is perfect. It doesn't mean that we don't have struggles. It doesn't mean that, you know, we don't have issues or problems. There are things that we're all battling. We're all going through, but we're pressing on because this is a part of our purpose to inspire people,
Yes. Yes.
to push people, to you know, be an inspiration, not because we're perfect or done everything right, but a lot of it is because of the things that we've done wrong. And so just be confident in that the very thing that God has purposed you to do, he's going to carry it out. You know, you got work to do. Rhonda, you got something to say?
Exactly.
You got something, Rhonda?
The only thing I would say is, you know, being confident, you know, in whatever you endeavor, whatever you set out to do, know that opposition is going to come, but you're confident. What brings me to confidence because of the word that I know I have that's attached to what I'm doing. And so a lot of people, just to end this, sometimes that lack is is attached to the lack of having a word or the lack of having knowledge of what or they supposed to do or they're supposed to be accomplished. So some people feel like they're at a standstill because they have the lack of a word. And so I just want to encourage people that if you do have a lack of a word or you don't quite know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, so you could be confident in whatever you're supposed to do, you know, seek God, you know, for the word, you know, in your prayer time. Trust me, he will answer if you seek him. And that's the only thing I have to say. The word is what's going to drive you. And then that empowerment from within, that faith to step out and do whatever it is that God has called you to do, then that confidence is going to come when you properly prepare for it.
Absolutely.
All right. Erica?
Oh, yeah. Same as Rhonda, I just want to encourage people, let them know that whatever that you need is on the inside. Sometimes it may be asleep. You just have to know how to get it awakened. You know, there's something resting in your mind that you've always wanted to do or is always sitting in the back of your head. I can do this. I've always wanted to do this, or I'm curious about that. That thing needs to wake up so you can walk in your destiny, walk in your calling. So like Rhonda said, you know, just seek God. And even if you're, you know, if you're new in the faith, it's okay. You know, sometimes it's just sitting there in nature. You could be sitting on the front porch, you know, just to put it in a practical terms. You can be sitting in the backyard, sitting on the front porch, listening to the radio, just kind of thinking about what are your dreams? What is that thing you was always curious about, wanting to do? And they're just kind of sitting there with it, and God will give you just some short little burst idea, and you're going to meditate on that. And the more you think about it, it'll become revealed to you, and then he'll start laying out those steps. And then next thing you know, you're on the road. So don't get frustrated or think that you're less than somebody else because you're not doing what they are doing. You know, to everything, there's a time, there's a season, there's a purpose. So just take some time out and just chill, just kind of get to yourself and just kind of think about those things that were always in the back of your mind to do.
And all it takes is one word.
That's it.
One word
One
to
word.
ignite what's within you.
That's
you know,
it.
that's all it takes.
Absolutely. And so we want to thank you all for joining us on tonight. And hopefully that you will be able to join us next Tuesday and continue to live life in sync. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.